Today we are going to discuss about question number 19, exercise 14.1 probability. Observe this question. A child has a die. What? A child has a die whose 6 faces. We know well die having 6 faces. Whose 6 faces show the letters as given below. 6 faces of die showing what? On the faces of die we are having A, B, C, D, E and A. 6 faces of die showing A, B, C, D, E and A. 2 faces. What? 2 faces having A. Clear? This die is thrown once. Once we throw a die, total possible outcomes will be what? 6. Clear? So, observe this question. What about its solution? Once we throw a die, total possible outcomes, or we can say total number of outcomes of a die equal to what? 6. This die is thrown once. It means what? Once we throw a die, total possible outcomes will be what? 6. What is the probability of getting A? Another one is what? What is the probability of getting D? So 2 questions we are having. I am taking first one. Probability of getting a letter capital A. Probability of an event equal to what? Number of favorable outcomes divided of total possible outcomes. Once we throw a die, total possible outcomes we are having 6. Now what about the number of favorable outcomes? Probability of getting a letter capital A. Probability of getting a letter capital A. On a die having 6 faces, and on these faces we are having following letters. 2 times A. 2 faces we are having A. It means we want what? Get probability of getting a letter A. 2 faces having A. So number of favorable outcomes will be what? 2. Solve this one. 2 1 ja 2. 2 3 ja 6. 1 upon 3 will be what? Probability of getting a letter A. Now second one. Now what is the probability of getting a letter capital D? D we are having only one face. 6 faces we are having on a die. Out of these faces, D is where? Only one face. So probability of getting a letter D will be what? Number of favorable outcomes divided of total possible outcomes. Total possible outcomes for a die is what? 6. And number of favorable outcomes, we want what? A letter capital D. Only one face having letter capital D. So number of favorable outcomes will be what? 1. So 1 upon 6 will be what? Probability of getting a letter D. This is the required answer. So we solved both the questions. Observe again. We are having one die having 6 faces. On these faces we are having A, B, C, D, E and A letters. 2 faces having capital A. Remaining all are having what? B, C, D, E. Clear? Now die we are throwing once. Once we throw a die, we are getting total possible outcomes will be what? 6. So now first one we want probability of getting a capital A. Probability of getting a capital A formula is what? Number of favorable outcomes divided of total possible outcomes. So once we throw a die, we are getting total possible outcomes will be what? 6. and number of favorable outcomes for getting a letter capital A in which two faces having capital A. So number of favorable outcomes will be what? 2. Once we solve, we are getting 1/3 will be what? Required probability. Now for this one, probability of getting a letter capital D. This die having one face capital D. So number of favorable outcomes will be 1 divided of total possible outcomes. Die having 6 total possible outcomes. So 1/6 will be what? Required answer for this question. I hope you understand this question. That's all about this question. Thank you so much.